Welcome back to the Better by Next Week podcast, where this week Ollie and I tie up some loose ends. We have been doing a hell of a lot of things, and there's a lot of loose ends to tie up. So we have got me doing the Hardcore Harry's Challenge, what Ollie's been up to. We have got some competitions we need to tie up, and just a heap of other things that we kind of wanted to, tie up so that we can kind of move on to
the next stage of our lives, next stage of the podcast.
Yeah, that's right. So you may have noticed that we've gone full gladiator videography spec. Ollie has been hard at it behind the scenes.
I hope it looks nice for everyone. So if you're listening in, have a look at the video because I hope it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, we've done a bit of an upgrade. Ollie's done a huge not we. Ollie has done a massive upgrade with the help of our friend Farms, who suggested that we go from looking like Friday night footy to a little bit more modern wisdomy kind of thing. Yeah. So I actually quite like it.
You know what? And it's very hard because you've got such a small space. I know like people might look at this at home and go, wow, that must be like such a cool, epic, like big room. And it is tiny. Like if you saw the behind the scenes of this stuff, the lights are crammed in. Like
we'll do a little behind the scenes reel.
Yeah, I think so. I think we'll do that.
One big regret I do have is actually making this room smaller to be able to put in a walk-in robe for me and your mum in our master bedroom. That's why the room is so small.
But how much bigger could we had it?
Not much bigger. It would have been half a metre, but half a metre would have been better. But anyway, enough about. We do hope that you enjoy the viewing of the podcast now. Yeah. It does look pretty epic. So,
but getting onto things, we'll start off with Dad's Hardcore Harry's Last One Standing journey, and it was going to come to an end last weekend, wasn't it?
Yeah.
On day 66, bring us back to that moment. Like, tell the story. What happened there?
So, day 66 started off like every other day, like day 65, like day 64. Everything was going to plan. I thought I was going to be okay. I'd had a couple rough days, but then day 66 just turned into a slog by the end of it. I got up in the morning. I got my bottles ready. I put my shoes on. I kind of went out. I'd been battling a little bit of a cold and obviously and niggles as well. So a couple of little injuries that I'd picked up, which really, really sucked, because they made it so much harder to get out every morning. I think we discussed a little bit at the end of day 66 what had actually happened, and it felt like there was a bit of a tipping point at that in that moment. But day 66, what my plan most days is to get to halfway, knowing that if I had to really slow it down and walk, I'd still make the day. So I got to halfway and I felt okay. I think I was averaging like 6:30, 6:45 pace, which was pretty good for me at that point in time from what I'd felt like. And I'd gotten a message from Merlin saying that he was going to pull out from the event. So I thought, oh, wow, I'm going to be the last man standing here, because Margie was still going. She's been the last female standing for the last 20 days. So I thought, you know what, this may be my opportunity to get out whilst I don't feel well. I should be able to finish day 66. So he messaged me saying he had an Achilles problem and he wasn't going to finish off that day. So I kind of contemplated it and I thought, you know what, I know that Margie's got an event coming up, and that was Hurdy's, which has just happened. And I reached out to her and I asked her whether she wanted to taper for that event and whether we pull out at the same time so that she's the last female standing, I'm the last male standing, and, we shake hands and that's it. Now, to Margie's credit, she didn't say that agreement was off the table, but she messaged me back and said, I think you've got a lot more left in you. And I messaged her back and said, enjoy your last day tomorrow, because I'd had enough. My body was just screaming at me. And then I ended up finishing day 66, knowing that I had to finish it to be last man standing. And I have a look on Strava, and old mate Merlin decided to to pull his finger out and actually get out there on day 66. And he actually finished day 66. And so I went from being halfway through day 66 thinking that I'd won and been the last man standing to being the only person out of the three of us that had quit that day. So I don't know how I managed to get myself in that position, but it absolutely sucked. And I felt like crap because I felt like I'd let my competition, which they're not really my competition, but I'd let others dictate where I was headed in the challenge. And I think that was a massive learning for me because in the past, I've actually stopped because I've been looking outwards at what other people are doing. So I quit. I definitely quit. At the end of the day 66, you come out, you had the camera, Mum was there recording me, and we were talking about, why I'd made the decision, and it was completely.
I might even run over a clip as well.
Yeah, it was completely my own decision. Like what Merlin said and did was fine. He honestly had quit, but later on, I'd also heard that Margie got in his ear as well and said, "I think that you've got more in you. Just give it a crack. See if your Achilles can hold up." And he went out, and I don't know how. He even doesn't know how. He managed to keep on going on a busted Achilles, and it came good. So it probably wasn't his Achilles. It was probably something else. Probably something very similar that I've experienced a few times now through the challenge around the Achilles area. So I'd quit. I'd said to myself, "That's it. I don't want to do this anymore," and I'd mentally retired from the event until the next day. So.
I want to get to the nitty-gritty of that build-up because I actually remember going out with you on that day and run with you for 10 kilometers, and you seemed fine. We were talking over conversations of how realistic it would be coming up to Sydney's, and now obviously as the days have progressed, we've kind of come to the conclusion that we're going to just keep going regardless of how close Sydney's going to get. We'll talk a little bit about that later.
I like how you keep saying we're going to get there.
I know. I get it.
Because every time I ask you to mow the lawns, I say to you, we're going to win this thing. We're going to.
No. But you seemed quite fine. And obviously you were sore, like you had some issues going on, like you said before. But then there was just, like, what was that tipping point actually like? The feeling? Like, what was it?
It was relief. It was, in the end, it was actually relief to know that I didn't have to wake up the next day and do this challenge. And it was, I'll explain it to you like this. So for me, this event, I start the run, I feel a bit crappy for the first 5 to 10 Ks as everything warms up. I warm up, I'm in bliss mode for 40 or 50 kilometers, and then I bring the bird into land and I'm a little bit tight and a little bit sore. And then I do it all over again. A
few bumps along the landing.
Yeah, sometimes a few bumps along the landing, and those bumps are good because they give me a really good indication of what I need to work on for the next day, whether it be a bit of massage, a bit of recovery, earlier sleep, all those kinds of things. They give me those good indications. But what was starting to happen was that there was obviously that initial warm-up feeling, but there was no blissful running. There was just painful running the whole time. Or what would happen I would get a little bit, I'd warm up, I'd feel okay for a little bit, maybe to halfway, and then I'd feel like absolute crap. So the landing felt like it was a lot longer. And that kept getting pushed back further and further and further until the whole run felt like shit. And I'm like, I can't do this. I couldn't even run at almost 7-minute pace. And I was struggling. I was pushing to try and make time. That one day where I blew my quad up, I made it with like 10 or 15 minutes to spare. I'd been making it by an hour and a half, by 2 hours every single day. And that was the tipping point because I couldn't see myself coming back from where I was. And every single day got harder and harder and harder. And all I could think of was, this is not getting easier. So I must be depleted. I must have pushed it too far. This must be the end for me. So on day 66, that's what it felt like. I'd battled for 4 or 5 days to try and stay under the cutoff. And, maybe I had a good poker face for a few days, but I was battling and it hurt. And there was no blissful running like I had in the 50s. It just got brutal. So that was the tipping point. And that's why, in the end, I'd quit on day 66.
Yeah, so I went out at the end of that day. We were recording. We're going to post a video, and it is actually unreleased at the moment.
Yeah.
We haven't posted it. But what you mentioned was that going out on day 67 was going to be detrimental for you.
Yeah.
Obviously, in that moment, that's what you thought. But when you were walking around at the house at night, obviously, I felt like you had this sense of relief that you don't have to wake up tomorrow morning. But I felt like I could see it in you, that you had in your back of your mind that you wanted to go out the next day.
Yeah.
Is that am I correct on that?
Yeah. Yeah, I did want to go back out. But you know what? I almost felt like it almost, like that day 66 almost had to happen for me to be able to go out again. And I know that a lot of our listeners have been thinking, how on earth are you going out there every single day and running an ultra marathon? And how are you mentally preparing to, when you know that you got to go out that next day? How do you do it? And then all of a sudden you can't do it anymore? Why don't you just kind of pick up the pieces again and get back out there? But it was almost on day 66, there was almost like that release. Like I'd built up this thing I was attached to for so many days that I finally just let it go. And I said, well, it is what it is. If I'm out, I'm out. And because I'd said that to myself, I almost gained a new level of appreciation for the event. I actually I didn't want to quit, but physically I felt like I had to. But then because I was holding back so hard, I had all this tension and stress in the body that when I woke up on day 67, I'm like, I actually don't feel that bad. I might actually start jogging again and see how I go. And I got that feeling of being able to run again. And it didn't hurt from the get-go. So what that tipping point moment was for me that I couldn't get my head around, that I knew I was done, it had shifted in the opposite direction. So I got an indication of, hang on, we're going back in the other direction. We're going back to a little bit more blissful running, a little bit easier. Because I said, how many times did I say to you, I just want one day. Just give me one day where I'm running without pain. And it was, and then I started to get that from day 67.
Yeah, with the things that you're talking about having to let go, was it the idea that it's okay to quit? Because you had that epiphany moment as well at Down Under. Do you think this whole letting go theory around your running is based off of just it's okay to quit, and actually knowing that feeling that it's okay to quit spurs you on to actually continue?
Do you think are you thinking maybe it just releases that tension as well?
Yeah, well, I think it's such an interesting thing with you, because I feel like you feel like for you to be able to continue, you need to accept that it's okay to quit. But you know that you're not going to quit, so you just keep going.
It's a tough one. It's almost like a tongue twister for your brain.
I know.
But I don't know, man. I think there is a little bit of that. I think that there's a little bit of that letting go and knowing that it's okay and not putting so much pressure on yourself. I think that that's what it could be as well. It's the amount of pressure that you put on yourself for a challenge because you said that you were going to do, well. Whereas now I actually don't feel any pressure. I don't feel a need to let go. There's a lot of things that come into it. Like I was still working at that point. I was still, obviously I feel bad because you're doing all the chores around here. You're doing all the mowing, the setting up of the podcast. You're helping out heaps. Your mum's taken a heap of jobs off me as well. Your sister. So there's a lot of things that I'm neglecting that you guys are picking up the pieces, and then I feel a little bit of internal guilt for. But even on that day, it's funny because your mum was, and as I was coming in quitting, your mum was in full support. She wasn't in full support of me quitting. She was in full support of whatever decision I wanted to make. She was saying, if you want to keep going, then keep going. But if you've had enough, then stop. And it was like, oh, hang on. There is no There's no expectation of me to continue or not continue. I'm not putting pressure on anyone or anything like that. I'm actually got the support that I wanted. So it was almost all those little stories that you make up in your head. And I think there's a lot of that in the challenge. There's so many times that we create excuses, and a lot of what goes on in my head when I'm running is identifying excuses. So it's like, oh, my quad's sore, this is sore, I'm taking up too much time. Is this going to be too much pressure on the family? Is this going to be all this? So they're all excuses, but it's whether those excuses turn into reasons to quit. And I think that's one of the most important things as a runner that we need to what's the word I'm looking for? Reconcile. We got to reconcile that in our own head to say, hang on, these excuses are not reasons to quit. They're just, I just got to find a way around them, whether it be, okay, I'm going to have to suck it up and I'm going to have to mow the lawns myself, or I'm going to have to suck it up and try and get creative with my leave at work so that I can get this challenge done. Because it's so easy to quit, isn't it? At the end of the day, I can just say, look, I've had enough. I'll go back to my life and that's it. But there's so many reasons to not quit, to keep going. You know, the amount of support that we've had through this challenge has been absolutely bonkers. I cannot believe how many people have reached out to me saying that super inspiring, Tim. I got off my couch and, you know, I had a 5K run to do. I didn't want to do it, but then your run come up on Strava. I'm like, I've got to go out there, do my 5K run. So, I mean, a lot of that stuff keeps you going, doesn't it?
It does. I find that for me personally, it's such an interesting thing with that whole idea of like support, and like I'll give you an example. I feel like I need to be told, oh, don't quit. Like I need to be convinced otherwise not to quit. Whereas acknowledging that it's okay to quit and that it's okay to keep pushing regardless of the choice, like what Mum did with you, it's a weird thing because I think that's a stereotype that a lot of people have developed, that it's like, no, you have to stay in, you can't quit. But I think where a lot of people will see performance gains is that acknowledgement that it's okay to quit, because it almost eases that part of the brain, but deep down inside, you know, you're not going to quit. Like I said before, it's like that little, it's a weird paradox thing in a way. Like I think that's the real reason, or the real way to unlock your potential, is to acknowledge that really bad thing that you don't want to happen, and then it's okay for that to happen, eases that part of the brain, but you know deep down that you're never going to get to that point.
It's okay if that happens. I'll survive. I'll still be. But it's funny that you say that, because the way that I parent you and your sister is almost what you just described for yourself. What you need to do. It's like if I tell you that you have to do something, you're like you're straight away you think, oh, what's in it for him? But if I just explain to you, here are the repercussions of your actions. So if you don't go out and train and you don't go and do this thing, this is what's going to happen. And essentially it just leaves the choice up to you. Same as in this challenge. All right, Tim, if you quit, then this is what it's going to look like. And now you need to make a decision whether you're okay with that. And then at that point, you're like, well, yeah, actually, I am okay with that. I'm pretty proud of myself that I got that far. Or you say, no, I said to myself I was going to stick it out to the end, so I'm going to stick it out to the end. And then you make that decision. Whereas if you've got someone saying, oh, you have to stay in, or you do this, or you are. I mean, that's why I sometimes, I find it hard sometimes when you're trying to motivate someone or trying to give someone encouragement, and it can come across as, oh, you're not supportive, because I think that you need to be supportive, but you also need to let that person make their own decision. And it can be tricky because, you know, I reach out to Merlin and Margie, you know, every couple of days. I'll say, you know, great run. You know, I'm glad that you got through that. I'm glad that you got through this. I hope that you're doing well here. But then at some points, I kind of just step back and I think, oh, I don't want to intrude on your motivation or what's motivating you to keep going, because at some point, all three of us have to put our hand up and say, I've had enough. And I don't want to be the reason why I say, oh, you got to keep going, because it can be a double-edged sword. Because, hey, let's try and get to 100 days. Imagine we got to 100 days. That's insanity. But me trying to push those two to 100 days, it can be seen as support, but it can also be seen as selfish, because I want to get to 100 days. So it's such a hard, that support thing is it's really, really tricky. You need to be able to let go and step back and let a person make their own mistakes and decisions sometimes. What do you think?
Yeah, I was even going to ask you a question as well. Like, how do you think you would navigate through that in terms of like finding a way to support everyone without it being a double sword?
In terms of what? In terms of what I'm doing? Like,
yeah, like if you're trying to...
Well, it's hard. I've had to step back because I've had, like, with, say, for Margie, I think this is what you're asking. With Margie, she had Herdies this weekend, and the selfish part of me wants her on the Australian Backyard Ultra team.
No, that's not... It's so hard because I don't think that that's selfish. I think
No, but if I wasn't in the Harry's Challenge, then that wouldn't be selfish.
Yeah.
If I was in the Harry's Challenge, I would have messaged her sooner and said, Margie, Harry's Challenge, awesome challenge, all right? But Backyard Ultra Australia team, we really, really need you so that we can get the points on the board so we can beat the Belgians. But I can't do that. I can't do that because I'm in the Harry's Challenge.
Yeah, and it's also her decision as well.
It is her decision. But I'm sure that there's people, telling her, you got to keep on going. You got this girl, blah, all this other stuff. That's great, right? Well, I've seen it on Strava. But I'm just repeating what...
Okay, I was going to say, I'm like, you got this girl.
Yeah, but that's what I see people on Strava.
That's why I just thought I thought you were saying that.
No. But there'd be nothing wrong if I did. But yeah, so you see that kind of stuff, and it's the same with Merlin. I've reached out to him and said, even on the day he quit, I reached out to him and said, Merlin, awesome job. You did an amazing job. Look after your body. Your Achilles needs to make it the rest of the way around Australia. Again, selfish. By the sounds of because I'm in the challenge. If I wasn't in the challenge, I would say the exact same thing and it would be seen as supportive. So, I don't know how we even got on this topic.
I don't know either.
But yeah, I think that's where support, it can be double-edged sword. I think at the end of the day, when it comes to supporting someone, you often support people how you like to be supported. So I think...
And that can be your biggest downfall.
Well, yeah. Well, but in that vein, you can see how I like to be supported. I've learned a lot. Yeah. I like to be able to make my own decision based on the facts and the things that are around me. So I would like, if say, Margie, if the roles were reversed and I was doing the Herdies, I would like Margie to say to me, hey, Tim, I think that we need you on the Australian team. Is this Harry's Challenge?
Because that's what you would say.
Because that's what I would say.
Yeah.
But I do want to say that to her because I'm in the challenge and I know there's probably a conflict of interest, I suppose.
Well, coming back to the topic of the Hardcore Harrys and the days and how you've progressed throughout the week, what has changed from day 66? We're now on day 73 recording. What has actually changed? What have you found out? Like, what are you doing?
I've got a super runny nose.
Oh.
And that sucks, but I'm not sick anymore. I was sick for a couple of days. I reckon that's when I did some damage to my quad and I was probably running faster. And then I managed to shake the man flu, which your mum said that it's just a man flu, but it was a real good man flu. And now I'm back running 6 minute 15 Ks. And feeling good. Like I had a really good day today. It was day 73. And I'm getting those days that I said to you, I wish I was just having a day where it was like no pain. And I'm in a blissful blissful state. I'm going out running with some more people tomorrow. I had someone join me today for 10Ks. I've had some people on a bike join me for 30Ks. It's been good. Like I'm tight. I've got tightness. I got Achilles tightness. I don't think it's the Achilles anymore. I think it's like that soleus muscle. Right. I think it's that muscle that's tight. So
I'll have to do a little bit of massage tonight.
yeah, might have to do some massage tonight. But I think it's that muscle, and I just need to massage it a little bit so that it's because the first 10 or so Ks every day seem to feel like they're a little bit tight. So once I've taken care of that, I'm in bliss mode. And even today, I managed to get through the whole run. Maybe the last 500 meters, I tightened up a little bit, but there was no pain. I'm not actually in any pain, so which is really good. I've found that I've switched up my nutrition a little bit, less eating of baby foods and snack packs, and probably more tailwind, and that's sat a little bit better for me. I did get a couple cooler days as well, which was nice. So.
Yeah, and you've had the East Peak ice bandana to keep you cool.
We finally got them flown in from the States, and they were sold out the minute we bought them.
I know. But they've been working really well, have they?
Yeah. I've actually enjoyed them, and they're better. I don't want to bag on any. They're better than anything that I've used in the past, and they just hold more ice. Well, no, I'm not. Well, these ones are just really. I found that they were really good. They were, I don't know, $50-$60 each, but they have
good quality.
They seem really good quality. They don't bounce. They get a heap of ice in there. Lasts for about on a 28-degree day, full sun, probably an hour and 10 minutes. The ice lasted in the back.
And we have the smaller size as well. We don't even have the extra large size.
Yeah, I thought the extra large size was more for if you're a bigger guy, but I think it's just more ice in the back.
Yeah.
I don't think you're gonna anything that I would ever do. It's our max. So
yeah, I guess that's true.
And we've got 2 of them, so we can rotate through them.
For anyone that's going through their own day 66 in their lives, what would you suggest and tell them?
If you're going through your own day 66, which is funny, I think it's gonna end up being a catchphrase.
Yeah.
Day 60.
Oh, we should make it a catchphrase.
Yeah. Your day 66. If anyone's going through your day 66, I would say just keep going. Just keep going in a forward direction, because it can't get any worse than day 66. So when you hit rock bottom, you can bookend the crap feeling, and then you know that there's only one way, and that's up from there. I felt that once I hit rock bottom, I actually finally understood how much I was enjoying this challenge only when I hit day 66. Day 66 opened my eyes to the love of running. I regained the love of running on day 66 because I wanted it so bad that I was willing to keep pushing in that direction, knowing that that the tipping point had happened. And I don't know, I just found my way out of it. I dug myself out of that hole, and now I'm on the other side of it. Now I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, but having that day 66 made me realize that it's not the end. It's not the end. It's just the beginning at that point. And I think that that's what we were all of us that were in the challenge, and we all had our day 66. It's just that we might have had it on day 51 or day 42 or day 21 or day 5. But when you have that day, then you understand, and it gives you an understanding that things can only get better from here. And I think that's a good perspective to have. And just to keep pushing. I think that's a big one, because I had a big smile on my face as soon as I quit. I had my day 66, and then I understood, hang on, I actually don't want to quit this challenge. I'm actually enjoying this.
Yeah. Well, I was looking at some quotes before. I might give, this isn't my quote, don't quote me on that, but I will search it. I'll go have a look. I had, what is it? Because it's very similar to what you were saying. Yeah, so life is like riding a bicycle. To keep your balance, you must keep moving.
Yeah, I
'Cause
think
if you
that,
stop, you end up wobbling all over
yeah,
the
you
place.
end up on your ass. You end up on your ass, and that's a good quote. That's a really good quote because you may feel like you've hit rock bottom and you've stopped dead, but you're at that point where you're just wobbling, and then that's it. That's your moment, and then you keep moving. So, but moving on to what you've been doing, you've had your day 66 as well. So you've had a couple rough days yourself with
Couple
training.
rough weeks.
Couple rough weeks, yeah. Like if anyone's been following you on Strava, they would have been seeing a ton of progress. And I still see, the lighter weeks that you've gone out. I still see all that as progress, but you don't see it as progress. But let us know how have you been going, and what's been on your mind, and what have you classified as your day 66 recently?
Yeah. Well, if anyone has not seen my Strava, I don't do anything on it anymore. It's just afternoon run, morning run, lunch run. That's it. Nothing. And it's got what is it? The Chorus load thing. That's all it has in the description. But yeah, I've had a rough couple of weeks. Like it's just every session I come back is just like it's like I'm hitting the paces that I want, because obviously I want this goal with the 5K and everything. I want it so badly. And I keep coming back and I just feel awful. Like I'm just never feeling good. And
Never feeling good in what way?
specifically quads and hips just feel heavy on efforts. I don't feel poppy. I don't feel snappy. None of that. It's not like it's just I don't feel great. And I don't know if you're supposed to feel great, but surely the universe can just give me one day to feel flipping great. So I don't know. I don't
We've
know
got very similar stories.
if it's other factors that are just that play into this, but far out, it is a rough slog for me. And you mentioned you have one day. I've been having like 3 weeks.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, but that was one day I quit.
Yeah.
You haven't quit running yet.
I know. But I felt like I was going to.
But yeah, but my rough days maybe are very similar to what you're talking about and describing. So describe what that rough feeling feels like.
Yeah.
Because I reckon a lot of our listeners can probably relate to feeling flat and feeling unmotivated and feeling like they've got no pop in their legs.
Yeah, so it's not necessarily feeling flat or unmotivated to actually get out there. I am so motivated and I feel like I'm destined for greatness if I just put in the work. And that's what I'm doing. I'm really just trying to get out there and do the work. And obviously with school and a lot of other stresses in life, like I've had to drop the Ks, evident by my Strava graph, which I've had to let go in the past. But yeah, so this feeling that I'm getting, if people really can't wrap their heads around, is that it's almost like a combination of you're looking at others around you, you're seeing what they're achieving and going, why aren't I doing that? Why am I? Every day you're going out there, you're training harder than ever, you're eating better, you're sleeping better, but you're just not getting the progress. Like you're not seeing it. And I guess that's that part of what Chris Williams talks about with the unknown chapter of like you're kind of moving away from your safe shell and everything like that, and you're in this unknown area. You can see those goals up ahead and those results, but they're just not coming. And that's where you just feel lost, you're lonely, and that's where I'm at right now. And I think that translates over to how I feel on the day with the efforts. And it's not that I'm not able to get through the session. I'm able to get through it in terms of hitting the paces. It's just I feel like it's just hard. I'm getting through. It's a very hard feeling to describe. I'm getting through the sessions. I'm doing the paces. I just feel crap whilst I'm doing it. But it's not in the crap where it's like, oh yeah, I just did a really hard session. It feels like I should be able to hit those paces. I feel like I'm better than what I'm feeling, if that makes sense.
So you feel like you're better than what your watch is saying.
Yeah.
So like you should be feeling better than what your watch is saying.
100%. And it's interesting because it's every session. It's not like even the easy sessions.
But do you come back? And I think we had a kind of a discussion about this when you came home one day and you
spat the dummy.
You spat the dummy. You just don't look happy. And I said to you, okay, well, are you? Because I sometimes feel like we get attached to this feeling that I'm like if I don't crush this session and feel good, I can't be happy. So then we walk around all mopey and flat. And that's what I've been seeing with you. And then what you do, you go out there and then you train even harder because you think that the answer is to work harder. Or you go out there and you smash a gym session and then you go back out there and go, no, I'm going to – it's like you're forcing something that just doesn't want to happen, but maybe you need to let go of something because you're carrying too much. Do you think that like the weight of that expectation might be weighing down your sessions, and that may, on a metaphorically, be the weight that you feel in your legs when and so you can't be poppy because you're too stressed and worried about, oh my God, if this session doesn't work out like this, then I'm not going to be the best in the world. I'm not like, you gotta understand that not every single session is the reason why you became the best there ever was.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying?
It's not even just the session. If I don't do this session, I'm not going to be happy. If I'm not going to execute this session well, I'm not going to be happy. It's actually just your lifestyle in general. Like we did have to come to the conclusion that I'm only happy when good things are happening to me.
Yeah.
Like when I get a message from a person that I've been waiting for a response for, like if I get a good result at school, like it's acknowledging. And I think a lot of people in their lives just don't acknowledge the small wins. And there has been something that I've implemented. I want to say it now, but it's my challenge for you.
Okay, we'll say it now.
Yeah,
I'll
say it now. So there's something that I've done that I've stuck up a photo. I'll put it up on the screen. And I've stuck up a photo on my wall, and it's Jim Walmsley finishing Western States at course record time. And it's just him coming across the finish line. The time is displayed. He's just celebrating. It's an epic photo. And I put around that big photo, so that's the ultimate goal. I put around that big photo all the little goals that right now seem so big, these little goals. Like this 5K time, so big. But it really isn't in hindsight, because when you think about it, those little goals are what add up to that big goal. And it's just stacking those bricks each day. So I think that's what people need to do. They need to bring themselves back to reality and just understand that, or even just look for happiness in things that aren't big. Like look for the happiness in the small things in life. Like actually waking up in the morning and having a great sunrise. Like that's the things that we need to be validated by, because if you're constantly chasing that hurt and hard sessions, then you're going to burn yourself out.
Yeah, I 100% agree. What I found doing this Hardcore Harry's challenge, sorry to bring it back to that, but running for 8 hours a day, it sure as hell straightens you up when it comes to every single thing that you do post that run. You're in the hurt locker for 8 hours, and then you come out of it, and walking through the house feels amazing. Sitting down on the couch feels bloody amazing. Drinking that glass of orange juice feels amazing, because you know that you've only got such a short span of time before you, once again, you're out there running for 8 hours. So you start to appreciate each and every little thing. And even when you're out running, when you're not hurting, you appreciate that a lot more. So your journey, my journey with the challenge, has allowed me to really appreciate being in the present moment. And I think that with you is an important thing to take note of, because you are having wins. It's just that you're not noticing them. And because some of the big things aren't happening like you would like them to, and you think that, oh, I need to smash these sessions so that I get this 5K time, that's not happening. But in the background, you don't know what the universe has planned. You might be building something else instead to make sure that you get what you want. And it's because one person's path is pretty linear to that goal, doesn't mean that everyone's is. Yours might spiral and go round and round and round, and then you'll get there. But you'll be able to look back at that journey. And I guarantee you, and this is what I think the best coaches, the best mentors, the best life coaches and things like that, this is why they're so good, because they didn't have a completely linear path to their goals. They actually had to experience all the twists and turns to get there. And that's what makes them great. And I often say that, the best coaches in sports weren't the best players, because the most talented people, they don't understand the nitty-gritty and how to get to be epic at something, because they had so much talent that the trajectory was so linear. Why? Who knows? I don't know. But the coaches, like, you have a look at some of the best coaches in the AFL for instance, right? They weren't the best players, right? It's why? Because they know what hard work looks like, and their path goes, here, there, and everywhere. And I think that's what you've got to take on. Not to say that you're, because some of your stuff, because I bet you a lot of people would look at you, a lot of young guys would look at you and go, oh, he's so lucky. His path to being breaking the backyard ultra under 18 world record is so linear, and that is. Why don't you, people look at you and go, that's so amazing. Why? And then they're bashing their head up against the wall, running 10 loops and then crashing, and then running 15 loops and crashing, and running 20, and then not being able to get over 24 for God knows how long. And then you turn up, you go 6:15, 28, bang, and then it's 34 breaking world records. So because you often don't see that. I think that a lot of people probably do see that and can appreciate that you're lucky in that sense. But, I mean, you were learning the hard way how to get this 5K time. It's just that you need to be patient. And do you think that that's probably something that you lack when it comes to your training?
I think the biggest issue with every runner who is not succeeding in their goals is an attachment issue. Like, you're too attached to something. You want it too badly. And don't get me wrong, for some athletes, it 100% works. For Michael Jordan, it works. For a lot of athletes, it works.
But it's working for you, though.
I don't...
It is working, but not in the way you think it's working. So you are attached to it, and you forever will be. You are attached to wanting to be really good at something. Well, I'm attached to really being good at something as well, but I'm attached to being good at it, but my identity is not attached to it. I think I was going to ask you earlier when you were talking about your photo with Jim Walmsley and all your sticky notes and all that kind of stuff. What happens if that doesn't happen?
I just don't think it won't ever happen.
But what happens if it doesn't?
But I don't think it won't ever happen.
But what happens if it doesn't happen?
I don't
Does that
know.
mean that you're not happy?
I just can't see a life where it won't happen.
Yeah, but there's a chance that it could not happen. Now, you believe that there's an absolutely, it's unequivocal that it's. I don't even know if that's the right word, but you think 100% that's going to happen, right? But what does life look like? And that's the attachment thing. That's what I mean by attached. So if you're that attached, so there's a difference between being confident that something's going to happen. So, for instance, me, I say I'm confident, and I'm going to take out this last one standing, Harry's last one standing challenge, or I'm confident I'm going to win at Sydney. Now, if I don't, that's okay. But they're two separate things. So that's why I'm not stressed. I'm not stressed about Sydney. I'm not stressed about Sat Champs. I'm not stressed about the Harry's Challenge because I understand that you don't always get what you want. So because I'm not attached to the outcome, do you get what I'm saying?
Well, that's what I'm trying to say is that I think people get so attached to that outcome is that they forget how to get there and the process. I think people need to be attached to the process. If you love the process, it comes back to finding something that you love doing that everybody else hates doing or would despise doing. If you love doing that, then there is no way you won't ever achieve your goals. There is no way. If you're so attached to the process, the outcome will follow. It is no doubt, undoubtedly, it will come.
But nothing's guaranteed.
I think that if you're so, I believe if you're so,
you're so
driven,
young. I think you're so young.
I think if you're so driven to the process of doing something, if you love getting out there each day and just building a brick in the wall,
Yeah.
even if it's small, no matter what
Yeah.
size, if you love that action,
Yeah.
then it will become so big that your success is like undeniable.
Yes, undeniable. Yeah, that's not guaranteed. Undeniable is a word I would use. Yeah, you give yourself the best chance ever, right, to make sure that outcome can happen, but it's not a guarantee. And then I think that's.
But
that's
why
what,
is it not a guaranteed? Why? If you're so driven to work that hard, work harder than everyone else,
Because
why
then
is it
you're
not
telling
guaranteed?
because then you're telling me that the person that wants it the most is the person that gets it.
I think so.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know about that. There's a lot of people that are talented that wouldn't say that. Do you get what I'm saying? So there's been people in history that have really, really, really wanted something, worked their ass off, and then old mate talent comes along and he kicks his ass.
But
And then no amount of work can. But here's the thing: that the beauty of that situation is that the person that has worked really, really hard and hasn't beaten the guy with talent, maybe there's a different path for that person. I'll link a TED talk by Lazarus Lake, who is the founder of Backyard Ultra and Barkley Marathons, and it's a 16-minute TED talk, and it chokes me up. I don't want to ruin it for anyone, but I was watching it, and the first 15 minutes and 55 seconds of this 16-minute TED talk, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, he's telling his story about how, he wanted to be a football player and all this other stuff, and he just wasn't good enough, and he wasn't good enough. And he tells this massive story about how he created Backyard Ultras and how he created races and how he wanted to be a football player, then he wanted to be a punter. He couldn't do that. He couldn't be like a linebacker because he was too small. He couldn't be a punter because he couldn't kick. Then he wanted to be a runner, and then he was too slow for the marathon, and he kept on going. All these dreams, exactly what you said. He was so invested in being the best, and then the last 5 seconds just brought a tear to my eye. We'll watch it after this podcast, all right? And I think that that's where sometimes you don't realize that you're chasing a dream that you don't realize you're chasing. But I just want to say that to you. Like, please chase your dreams. I'd never say not to. But I honestly think that there is sometimes an alternate path that you don't see. But, for me, and that's why understanding that is the not being attached to that outcome. There's nothing wrong with chasing that dream and wanting it and working your bloody ass off, because there's one person that gets that dream or gets that outcome, gets that Western States win. And there's no reason why it can't be you. But there's also thousands upon thousands of people that said that they wanted it just as bad as you're saying you want it. So, and that doesn't mean that their journeys haven't been as important.
yeah, I don't think that's where I'm
Sorry, I
coming.
went a bit deep there, but
No, I don't think that's where I'm coming from. I think a winner over second place, the winner wants it more. I feel like they want it more. They're willing to push harder. They're willing to
okay.
like, what's the difference?
I'll give you an example. Right, old mate footy player turns up to your cross country. Couldn't give a crap about cross country. He just plays footy, but he just turns up because everyone tells him, you're not a bad runner, just turn up to cross country. And he goes there, and I know there's a Oliver Kaprizak that's turning up to that cross country, and oh man, I know he wants it more than old mate footy. And then you race the guy, and he beats you. Why? He didn't want it more than you.
It's a good example.
Do you get what I'm saying? So sometimes it's not who wants it more.
Then what's it about?
That's the meaning of life. But that's the whole point. That's the whole point. You need to find the reason why. And when you do, that's when the nuggets of gold come through, that's when you're like, oh, I unlocked something. Because I guarantee you're more physically capable than that guy. But he's just turned up and he's just like, oh, yeah, they said I could do it. They said I should win. I'll be all right. I don't know. I'll play footy. I'll see how I go. And he's all relaxed. You take this body that's far superior than his, but it's all cramped up. And, oh, geez, man, I'm going, but I'm heavy. It's like you're carrying something. So you need to let go of something.
Maybe that letting go is that attachment to the outcome, and like that's what I'm talking about here. I think it's the attachment to the outcome that is everybody's downfall.
Yes.
Whereas that mindset
Nice
needs to be
circle back.
flipped to the attachment to the process.
Yes.
Because it always leads back to the process.
Yeah.
If you love the process, then
Yes.
the outcome.
I 100% agree with you. I 100% agree with the attachment to the process, because it's not even an attachment to the process. Love the process. Love the process, because if you don't love it, then yeah, you won't achieve things. But don't be naive to think that just because you want it more, you think you want it. You don't know. That's the thing. You don't know what's in someone else's head, whether they want it more or not.
Yeah, it's like everybody wants the view, but no one wants to climb.
No, I think everyone wants the view.
Yeah, clearly everyone wants the view, but no one
Yeah.
wants to climb.
Yeah, I don't know whether no one wants to climb. I think that there's a lot of times where people don't know what the climb looks like. That's another thing. Far out. I could talk for bloody
But
20 minutes about that.
What do you mean? Like no one knows what the climb looks like?
Well, because I'll tell you now, right? On day one, if you had told me I'd be sitting here on day 73 recording a podcast talking about the Harry's Challenge, day 73, and running ultra marathons every day, I'd be like, nah, you're nuts. But that was because I thought that the climb looked a lot different. I thought it was going to be a lot harder. I thought, don't get me wrong, it has been hard, but I thought it looked a lot different. But what I think people don't understand is that the plan is always changing. Your approach to something is always changing. Now, you don't know how you're going to react, who you're going to be, until you're in that moment. You know how we often talk about, oh, I wish I was on lap 60 or 70 of a backyard ultra. Well, at the start of this Hardcore Harry's Challenge, I wish I could have been at day 55 where it was the record. And then I got there and I was a completely different person. And I had a different skill set and I had more tools in my tool belt that I knew what to do with. And that's just it. You kind of, yeah, you come to understand that you need to be always changing the way you approach things. And you don't know, and don't be so naive to think that you've got all the answers at the start. And that's part of the whole climb thing. Because you might get halfway up the climb and then go, oh, hang on, I actually didn't know that these were the obstacles that I would have to overcome. But then sometimes you get halfway up the climb and then you say to yourself, oh, hang on, I've actually got all these new tools. This is actually not as hard as what I thought it was going to be. Because I can tell you now that this morning when I woke up to go for my run and I started running and 10Ks in, I was like, this is a lot easier than what I thought day 73 was going to be like if you had have asked me on day one. And it was. Why?
Well,
no one knows.
Maybe that climb is part of acknowledging that it's okay to quit. Because maybe that climb is when you get halfway and go, maybe this isn't my thing. And that knowing that it's okay for that, but then you can kind of see just up ahead how nice it is, and then you keep going.
Yeah. And as long as you're not attached to the outcome. Because if you're attached to the outcome, then you can find yourself doing something that you don't like doing because you think that you need to do it to see the view at the top. But not every mountain needs to be climbed either.
Yeah.
Hey?
Ah,
How about
How about we get into our cool little prizes? I feel like.
Oh yeah, that's right. We wanted to we did definitely got to tie up these two loose ends.
Yeah, this is 100%. This is basically the loose ends.
These are the real loose ends. So we have been running a competition for the unbreakable ticket that we have, and this one is going to be rare as hen's teeth now because they've just sold out King of the Hill. And King of the Hill have given us a ticket as well to give away.
This is the most valuable ticket on the planet right now.
Yes, 100%. Because King of the Hill is going to go off this year and you're going to want to be there. I'm going to be there. We do have some other surprises to come as well in terms of that, but we'll leave them for another show. So to enter our prize draw for these 2 tickets, we need to see some epic Strava art. Now,
and we've seen none. All
right?
No,
we have. I've had a couple entries.
Okay.
I had 2 entries come in, and they haven't been fantastic. I know it's hard as well because you're entering these competitions and these events. They're pretty brutal. But I've had, I think it was 3 separate Strava arts. They have not been great. So,
but what are they drawing? So
well, I had one that was like a little mountain. I had one that was like a little crown, but they weren't fat. I've seen some impressive Strava. I might even reach out to the Strava art guy and say to him, "Hey, look, can you give us 2 examples of each? Because people need to raise the bar." So you've got plenty of time because Unbreakable is, I think it's June. I don't want to say the wrong date. 18th or 8th or something like that. So it's King's birthday long weekend in Victoria. And King of the Hill is in November. It's Melbourne Cup long weekend. So you've got plenty of time to get them in. We're going to probably draw them a month out from both events. So get to making your Strava art. So how do you do a Strava art picture roll?
Key point Dad's missing here is that you have to have it in the theme of King of the Hill or Unbreakable, depending on what ticket you're going for.
Yep.
If it relates to King of the Hill, it's obviously you're going for a King of the Hill ticket. If it relates to Unbreakable, you're going for an Unbreakable ticket. So
get creative.
Search up what the events are, like really get creative because, I guess, I mean, like we were talking about before, being in that low, this kind of stuff could get you in that high. Just having some fun out there, creating some art, getting your mind off of things. So
yeah, that's right. Putting a epic spin on trying to win these tickets, and like we said, there haven't been a heap of entries. So and these tickets are they're both close to $500 each. So
and all you need is a GPS watch and Strava. Yeah, and some pairs of shoes.
Yeah,
you can do it barefoot.
And you can even plot out a course on Strava.
Yeah,
to do that.
Yep.
You know what? I might actually do something as well. I should do.
You should. You got all this time.
I got all this time. Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, so that was our cool little loose end tie up just there, and I hope that it does well. Send them in. Where can they send them in?
We had someone ask on our Spotify.
Yep.
So, and I just said, look, just send them into our email address, contact@betterbynextweek.com.au.
Yep.
And you can also send them in on Strava if you tag Tim Kaprazak or Ollie Kaprazak.
Or Better By Next Week.
Not on Strava.
I thought you
on Strava, or on Instagram. Just send us a message on Instagram.
Yeah, we will repost all the cool Strava art. Hopefully they're good because
I'll post up the ones that got sent in. But they're the winning ones at the moment, so
they're getting the tickets.
Yeah, that's right.
Cool.
All right. So how about we get into our fly on the wall? Hey.
Yeah, I think fly. I got to scroll down my notes. I need. Where are you at? Yes, fly on the wall.
So we had a few cool questions come in, and Ollie's got them on his laptop.
Yeah, I forgot to send them to you. I'm sorry.
That's okay. You go. You shoot.
So some of these questions are directly related to you because everyone's interested about your Hardcore Harry's challenge. So how much sleep are you currently getting in the last one standing challenge right now?
So I'm getting plenty of sleep. I'm prioritizing sleep because I have found that it is the most important thing that you can do for your recovery. Hands down. There is nothing better than sleep. I'm going to bed anywhere between 9 and 10 o'clock at night, and I am waking up at about 6:30. So I'm probably getting 8 to 9 hours sleep. But it is, I will admit, it is broken because I'm waking up in the middle of the night pretty hungry, and I'm getting up and I'm having a glass of orange juice and something to eat because my body's just, craving so much food. And it is tricky. Some days I wake up, I probably wake up 3 or 4 times during the night because, the body's recovering and, I'm anxious about waking up, not sleeping in and things like that. So, but when I do wake up in the middle of the night, like 4 a.m. and I get up out of bed, I am a little bit stiff and sore. And then I wake up a couple of hours later and I'm, good to go again. So I'm finding that sleep is super important when it comes to recovery.
Yeah. Yeah, like that.
How much are you sleeping?
How much am I sleeping? I should be sleeping a lot more. Like, I think at least maybe 8.5, 9 hours. It's hard because I got to get up early before school to run.
Yeah.
And just so I can prioritize study later on in the day. But I find that I'm studying so much later on in the day that I'm studying too late and then I have to get up early for school. So I think, if you're pretty safe if you're above 8 hours. But Matthew Walker over here, book over here, Why We Sleep.
Yep.
I think we've spotted that out before.
Yep.
In this cool room. He has seen a lot of elite athletes that are the greats of sport sleep like 12 hours.
He said this
in
last
days.
night to me. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, like 10 hours at night, 2 hours as a nap in the day. Roger Federer, like LeBron James is sleeping 10 hours plus. Like a lot of these athletes are just, that sleep is your superpower. And it's the greatest thing any athlete can do for themselves to help with recovery and help build themselves as athletes. Like
I don't think there'll be too many.
The mental like reset you get from it as well, the physical reset you get from it, like it's crazy. It's incredible what sleep does for you.
Yeah, I've had the last week off work, so it has. Yeah, it's I can really feel the benefits, but I think for a normal person, if you can get 7 to 8 hours, then you're doing pretty well. Because, look, I would love to be able to have a nap. I don't even have a nap every day during the middle of the day, but I think napping is a
I get. Yeah,
well.
it is very hard. I think if you're on the elitist side, I don't know if you have any audience members who have time for a 2-hour nap right now, but if you do, have one. Like,
actually, let us know how you feel.
Yeah,
I'd love to know like some people's theories behind like napping and having longer sleeps and how they're recovering and how old they are and why they're having those big sleeps.
Because even like you came to me not the other day, like a year ago. I don't know why I said the other day, but I remember you talking about how when you set an alarm, you wake up and you go back to sleep for 5 minutes, it actually puts you back in that sleep mode for like the next hour or so.
Yeah.
Is that how it works?
Yeah. So you have like so you have like sleep. It's like a pattern. So you'll go into deep sleep, REM sleep, light sleep, and all that kind of stuff. So you don't want to get into that next sleep pattern. I think it is.
I think it's stage. Like, you know what? I think like deep and light and REM is just a very basic broad term. I think it's actually like REM 1, REM 2, REM 3, or whatever. Like they all mean some different stuff. But you keep going.
But yeah, so I get about 9 hours of sleep a night.
Yeah.
In answer to the question.
Ah, cool.
All right. Next.
How many calories a day are you having, roughly?
Okay, so when I was at work, it was a lot easier to fit more calories in. So I would do my run that I had to do for the Hardcore Harry's Challenge. So I can't give you an answer exactly how many calories, but I can give you a rough estimate of what I'm eating. So I would finish my run. I would have lunch, which would be like 2 pieces of toast, avocado, and a couple of eggs. And then I would have a protein shake. I would then, on the way to work, have a smoothie, like a liter smoothie with fruit and avocado. Then I would eat a main meal, so anything like a butter chicken, steak and veggies, something like a proper main meal. And then I would have cereal on top of that, and then I would have another protein shake. And that was on top of having the 2.5 scoops of Tailwind every hour and the snack packs and stuff during the run. Now, so I was doing that and I could fit it in, but now obviously because I'm going a little bit to bed a little bit earlier, I am not putting as much pressure on myself to get as much food in. So I'll have 2.5 to 3 scoops of Tailwind every hour for the 7 hours that I'm running. I'll have 2 or 3 snack packs during that time. In the morning, for breakfast, I probably should have more, but for breakfast, I'm just having a banana and then I'm getting out for my run. So then I finish my run. I have my Tailwind protein shake. Then I have the big fruit smoothie. And then within an hour or so, I'm having a big main meal. And then after that main meal, I might snack a little bit with just whatever I can. Like last night I had, cheese and crackers and some grapes and stuff like that. And then in the middle of the night, once again, I'm having some orange juice. And last night I had a big choc chip cookie. So just to get the calories in. But I'm not putting too much pressure on myself and I'm getting through these runs. What I am finding though is that my fitness is going through the roof and my running heart rate is floating around an average heart rate of like 110, 115, which is freaking amazing. I can't believe that I'm running 5:30, 6-minute pace, 6-minute pace at the moment and having a heart rate of, at some points I'm looking down, it's at 105. I'm like, how on earth is it that low? So I think that my body is adapting really, really well to burning fat.
Yeah. I think the key takeaway here is that eat to hunger.
Yeah, to hunger. You're right. Because I was putting too much pressure on myself and I was getting a little stressed, not having enough food and not having enough protein. But now I'm just like, no, just eat. Just eat as when you're hungry. Like we'll finish the podcast, I'll have something to eat and I'm not too worried about it. Like, and I think that's why I'm now waking in the middle of the night and I'm hungry because I'm probably not eating enough during the day, but I don't want to eat and make myself feel sick. So
yeah,
but yeah,
cool. I think that you covered that pretty
right?
well, and you actually covered another question that was on there. So, what kind of meals are you eating? And I think you
there you go
as well. Tell us about Unbreakable, the course, the terrain, practicing the navigation. It is a very daunting race. If you're looking at it from an outsider's point of view, it's very scary from what Dad's experienced as well. I would be like so scared after the hallucinations you had in that.
Yeah, but those
hallucinations,
but
those hallucinations was probably due to you not doing the right things.
Yeah, the hallucinations weren't like they don't appear in the forest out there. They appear because you didn't like. For me, it was probably salt intake and hydration. Look. For anyone that's nervous about Unbreakable, don't be. Brett does not make Unbreakable impossible.
He's not Laz.
Even Laz doesn't make Barkley marathons impossible.
Have you seen the last couple of years? No,
but they haven't finished because the terrain's tough. It's not because they can't find the books. It's just really, really tough terrain. So there where it's hosted, I don't want to ruin it for anyone, but there where it's hosted, the terrain, a lot of it is 4-wheel drive tracks and some single track and things like that. And the navigation,
some bush bashing if you choose to.
The navigation is easy enough, but it's one of those things. When you're tired, you make poor decisions. So for instance, I'll give a bit of an example. When we did Unbreakable the first time, I remember there was maybe 3 intersections that we got to, like one after the other. And what I did so that I didn't have to keep pulling my map out, I went left, right. And then I'd run and I'm like, first intersection left. Oh, cool. Yep, we'll go that way. Yep, right. Yep, next one's right. And yep, the last one was left. And then I go left. And I'm running, and I'm like, oh no, hang on. Last one was meant to be right. So you might go okay down. So the navigation is as hard as you want to make it. If you don't want to be pulling out your map all the time, then you got to have a reasonably good memory. Same as when, and like, I mean, we got it to one intersection. I'm like, nah, we're going right. It's definitely right here. And I'm like, boys, don't worry, we won't have to pull out. And we end up going like 3Ks in the wrong direction. Just pull your map out and just have a look. Not all tracks are labelled, but you'll know because you'll come around a bend and then you'll have your compass and you'll say to yourself, I'm meant to be going in a northerly direction. I'm going in a westerly direction. I think that I'm here. So why am I going up a hill? And all it is you look at the topo grid on the map and you can see, so I should not be going up a hill. I'm going up a hill, but I shouldn't be. I think I'm actually here, not here. And often, even if you stuff up, you'll go a K one way, K the other way. You'll get to a track and it'll say, butcher track or whatever. And you're damn it, I butchered it. And then you'll end up going back to wherever you were. So that's the extent of the navigation. And when he gives clues, they're not too bad. It'll be, you get to a waterway and the book will be hidden in a rusty stump, blah, 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 blah. So there might be like a brown stump or something like that. But there might be a grey stump too. So then you'll go to the stump. So, oh, this is the rusty stump. Oh no, there's a brown one there. The book's in there, or whatever it may. That's the extent of it. So that's the navigation. So
Yeah, and in terms of time limits as well, is that you actually do, if you make it back on time, you have however much you need to get ready for the next lap out there, and your crew is always going to be there. So it's not like a quick, harsh backyard ultra pace. Get in 2 minutes, and then you have to go back out there. No. You take as much time as what you want, and
And if you want, you just hang out with someone else, and you team up with people.
Yeah, people like, at Barkley Marathons and the videos I watch is they wait, regardless of whether or not they're ready to go. They will wait because they know how valuable it is to have someone else there.
Yeah, and if you're having a down moment, that other person will pick you up, or that other person might go, "I know where that book is at this point." Like I've done it twice, so. If you just hang with me, and like I don't want to ruin the experience for anyone else, but if early on your pace is up, and I'll know, hang on, I know this hairpin, I know where the book is, it's in that stump over there, or I know that it's behind this pipe or whatever. So I'll just go straight to it, and then bang, there's your advantage. You just got to remember when you come back, if I'm not with you, or if you've wanted to push ahead, that in the anti-clockwise direction, you might have to find it. But in terms of navigation, it's not as daunting as what you think it might be. So, yeah.
The next one is a little bit of an interesting question. I don't actually quite understand it, and I was hoping that you understood it.
Yeah, let me. Please tell me that it's not the one about my nose tape.
No. I actually did see that. Steve is funny. Steve is Dad's mate, and he makes fun of Dad sometimes. But yeah, that was a funny question.
He made fun of my big nose. Said, how long is the tape that goes around? How long does the tape have to be around your nose?
If your Strava could talk, what is one run it would snitch on you for? Do you understand it? I don't know. What would it snitch on you for?
I don't know. I'm not quite sure what that means, but it could very well be. Do you ever find that you'll be running somewhere and the GPS says that you're running like faster than what?
Yeah. That's only happened to me once.
Yeah, I know that there's a road,
400 meter.
I know that there's a like a long straight road. And I don't know why. Every time I run on that road, I look down and I know what it feels like to run at, say, 4:30 pace. And I look down and it's saying 4:10. And I'm like, well, this is not bad. I like this 500 meter stretch.
So maybe
of road.
I guess that is the snitching in some aspect.
Yeah. If it could snitch on me, that'd be what it is.
Oh, he's not actually running that pace. Yeah.
Do you get what I mean?
And there is a part actually near our golf course that Dad runs all the time. Well, not so much anymore, actually, but you are going out a couple times soon. But it's like a slight hill right at the start where we enter, and it's like, maybe it's not so much a snitch, but maybe it is. But you feel like you're running so slow up this hill, and it doesn't even feel like that, like much of a heavy gradient hill. And then you get to the top, it flattens out, you like a fanging 330s. I don't know.
I'm not fanging 330s.
I'm
You're fanging 330s.
Like, yeah, I just find it's such a weird, deceiving spot.
Yeah. It's, sometimes I think the gum trees and stuff like that.
Or even at our local park run, I know that it just angers me because I feel like, oh my God, I'm flying here, like 320s. Yeah, let's just keep this pace. I look down, 345. Are you joking me? Like,
yeah. Sometimes I think it's just the GPS gets interrupted by high level trees.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Okay. Next.
I hope that's what they meant.
Yeah, I hope so. If not, just clarify with us. How many Ks will you run in a pair of shoes before it's time to replace them?
A lot more now.
Yeah, I think for me it's a lot more because I just don't. Because shoes are expensive nowadays.
Yeah, they're a lot more. Yeah, a lot more for you because I'm paying for your shoes. A lot less for me because I'm paying for my own. No, I reckon I'll probably run. Oh, look, I really like my Topos. My Topo shoes, they're so good in terms of their build quality that I will run hundreds and hundreds. So I'll run anywhere between 800 and 1,500 Ks in a pair of Topos. So I think that they're pretty good value for money. You, on the other hand, will also run 1,000 Ks, I reckon, in a pair of shoes.
I will run 1,000 Ks because they're quite. Shoes are expensive, and I want to get the most out of the shoes. And when I have a rotation, I have a rotation. And I do feel the need to buy more shoes, but I do have to restrain myself.
Do you find though? You know what? One tip I like. Some of my Topos that are trail running shoes, by the time I run in them for long enough, I smooth out the bottoms and they end up becoming like more road running shoes. And because the Toppos have the Vibram, I sound like a salesperson for Topo, but they've got the Vibram soles. They're very sticky. I like them. So they still hold their grip even though they don't have any lugs.
Yeah, even getting carbon plated trail shoes and, like you said, grinding the tread out and then they become road shoes. I don't know if the carbon plate will last as long, but
Yeah, I'm not sure.
maybe a small tip there for some, slightly hand-me-downs.
Yeah, 100%. Last one?
Yeah, we got the last one. Do you still need speed to win a backyard ultra? I think you need speed. It's not super known in the backyard ultra, but I think having speed is a very underrated skill to have in the backyard ultra.
Yep.
Now, I'm not talking speed in terms of running 26-minute loops. I'm talking speed in terms of running 37, 40-minute loops. And even that's not speed. But in the application of backyard ultras, it is quite speedy. You know what I mean? Like being able to build yourself up to being able to sustain those paces for the whole night to get enough sleep. Speed equals sleep. Let's just frame it like that in backyard ultras. Speed equals sleep.
Yeah.
And I think if you're able to run faster, be more speedier across your loops, then you're going to have more sleep, which in turn is going to help you go further.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. I have a slightly different theory.
Okay.
But I do like that speed equals sleep because it does. Obviously, the faster you are, I think your perception of pace is almost as important. So what I've found, obviously, doing this challenge is that 6-minute pace is not fast. But how fast is it when you do a 6-minute pace for a backyard ultra?
I think roughly 41 minutes.
Yeah. So when you look at it like that, as long as you in your head can perceive that 6-minute pace is easy on your body, then you just keep doing that. I think that speed is important, but it's what you think that speed is. Because when I go out training, I know that 4-minute pace is fast. I'm not going to be running that fast at a backyard ultra, but I need to make sure that I create a body and a mindset around knowing that 6-minute pace is super easy for me. So as long as I can knock out 6-minute pace, I'm always going to get plenty of sleep when I need to. Because often you'll start running and you're like, oh, I'm so sore, and then you start shuffling at like a 7-minute pace, and that's not good enough. So yeah, being able to do that 6-minute pace is important. So.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll move on to our don't quote me on that.
Yep.
I actually have just had a sudden realization. I don't know if this is a quote that you've done before.
Oh, it'd be interesting to see.
I hope it's not.
Oh, well,
I think it's a good one.
Well, that means that we're doubling down on a quote.
Let's read because it's a good quote.
Yeah.
Maybe. Okay. So, oh gosh, I want to say this without looking at my laptop, but okay. Oh, I can't do it because it's a little bit of a tongue twister. Okay. So do the best you can until you know better. Then when you know better, do better.
Oh. What does
Mate,
that mean?
maybe you haven't said that before.
I definitely haven't said that before.
Okay, definitely not.
So what does that mean to you?
Well, for me, I think it means not setting a limitation on yourself to achieve more.
Yeah.
So I think we are capable of a lot more than what we think. And sometimes it's very hard for us to wrap our heads around because it can be daunting in the position we actually are in now. But progressively getting better, like this says, like getting better till you know more. And then, like, I like to think in life that that there isn't a limit on what we can know. There's always journeys and like queries and everything.
It's always getting better.
There's always something.
Yeah.
There's always something in life to discover. And I think if we set our wall around us that, oh no, that's the point I get to, then I don't think we will reach our full potential and live the most fulfilling life we can.
Yeah.
I think we should always be striving to get better and know more because that's what makes life so cool.
Yeah. It almost just gives you an endless purpose, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because your purpose is to always be better. And I think that Like that's what we essentially do. Like there's always that purpose to try and be better. I don't have a quote. I like my little theories on things because I've been coming up with a hell of a lot of them, but don't quote me on this. All right. But through this challenge, what I have discovered, and I mentioned it briefly earlier, is that if you think that you know the answers before you do something great, you'll never actually achieve that thing. And you'll never take the first step in the right direction because the landscape changes so much on the journey to achieving something that there is no way of knowing everything before you set out. And often I think that people fail to recognize that their own limitations on that plan that they've got is what stops them from actually attempting that thing. Because if I had have thought that I needed to get to 73 days on the Hardcore Harry's Challenge to have a chance of winning, I probably wouldn't have even attempted it because I could not have fathomed in my brain how on earth I would get to that point. So my theory on this is that if you just go in blindly and trust that you'll work it out along the way, that's how you achieve greatness, by working it out on the way, not knowing all the answers before you start.
Do you think also that it's like guessing the answers as well before it? Like you don't know the answer and you're just guessing, and this is why maybe people might take a lot of time to get to their goal. I know this is a different kind of overview and look on what you've just said, but that's why people take a little bit longer because like I think it's a rule that if you just keep guessing, you will get the answer someday.
Yeah,
right?
but you can't just start throwing 1,000 darts and then go, I suppose if you throw 1,000 darts, you're going to hit bullseye once.
I know, but it'll just take them longer.
Yeah.
So I think by just actually trusting the process, I like to think of it like a maths problem. This is what I was thinking about in my head. If you just do not do the problem, if you just practice and you follow the steps to solve the problem instead of just guessing the equation or the answer, then you'll get there faster. You'll get you'll get what you want faster instead of just guessing and throwing numbers out there. You will get there when you just keep guessing, but it might just take you a little bit longer.
Yeah, but I think you've just kind of taught yourself a lesson there in that you have to sometimes planning something is a good idea. But I think that you've kind of gone a different way. Maybe, to what I'm saying. But
because I was thinking about what you were saying.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I think taking the first step doesn't mean you need to know the answers to the whole story to achieve your goals. And that's an important part of any journey, any challenge, any race, goal, dream, or anything that you might ever have. So making sure that you actually take the first step, not knowing what the outcome could be, is probably the best thing you can do. So
we'll bring this one across the finish line.
Let's bring this one across the finish line.
Better by next week challenges. The best part of the episode.
Yes.
Do you have one or you want me to go first?
You go first.
Okay, so like I mentioned before, I think I kind of floated the challenge, but what I want you to do, my Better by Next Week challenge for you this week and everyone else, is to print a photo of your ultimate goal. Now, this goal can change, so you can rip down this poster, this piece of paper on your wall anytime you want and put up a different photo, but try to have one that you're going to stick to for a very long time, like with mine, with Western States and Jim Walmsley's course record. Get that, stick it up on your wall so that every morning when you wake up, you look up and go, I'll go out for my run. It helps with that, but it also helps break down your goals and what you need to do to achieve that. So by sticking sticky notes on the side as well of your, let's say, mini goals and steps to get there, help you break that process down, the steps to get to that goal, and I think it's actually really effective for people.
It's a really good visual indicator too, because you're always looking there, and you might add 10 things in 1 week. I might add 10 things, and then only take one down.
Yeah.
But at least if I'm directionless or I'm not sure where I'm going, I like that. I think I will do that because I have to, because it's my Better Bar Next Week challenge. But I think that it's a really good one for if I'm not sure if I'm doing what I should be doing to get my goal. Then I can always look at it and just go, oh, hang on, actually, that's a 10-minute one here. Oh, I can put this in, and I like that. Yeah, good on you. I like that.
Good on you.
Good on you. I know, because I'm thinking about it, and I'm thinking, how does that work for me? And I'm like, I actually like how that works for me.
I'd be interested to see what your
All right, so my Better By Next Week challenge for you is around attachment. I really liked our little bit that you were just so focused on that if you do everything, then there is a sure bet that it's gonna be the right outcome. Now, so I want you to identify, and we're going to bring this back to next week's podcast as well. I want you to identify 4 things that you're attached to, and why you're attached to them, how they make you feel, and whether you need to continue pursuing them to be happy, or are they just stepping stones to becoming to something different?
Yeah, to a goal that you don't have the answers for.
Well, not so much that. I think it's more similar in the vein of, we're going to watch that Laz video tonight, similar to that. Are you doing something and you think that you're attached to the outcome that it's going to give you, but it's actually giving you something different, but you're just not seeing it because you're so laser focused on I'm attached to this because this is the outcome it's going to give me, but you don't realize that it's actually giving you something else. There's 4 things. I actually want you to have a really good think about it. And our listeners, it doesn't have to be 4 things, but just have a look at the things that you're doing, the things that you're attached to, why you're doing them, and have a look at, whilst you're doing that thing and whilst you're on the journey to doing that thing, and you think that that's the outcome that you want, maybe you're actually getting something else in return that you don't realize that. And that's the actual goal of that thing, but you just don't realize. Do you get what I'm saying?
Like the universe works.
Well, I'll give you an example. All right? For me, I'm chasing this Hardcore Harry's goal, and I want to be the last one standing. All right? And I think that I'm not attached to that goal, but this is just my example. So I'm continually pursuing that to be the last one standing. But what I didn't realize is how many people it's inspired to go and chase their dreams. So maybe that is the purpose and the thing that I'm going to get out of chasing this dream. I might not get the thing that I think I need to get, which is the last one standing, but I'll get the inspiring people and changing other people's lives for the better, because they might see something in them and go, hang on, I'm limitless too. So that's what I want you to do for the Better By Next Week challenge for you and our listeners. So, yeah.
Well, give the podcast a 5-star review, because we love seeing it. We love seeing the number go up every once in a while.
Yeah, it's great.
And please don't put number 4.
Definitely share, like our potty, and we love the overwhelming support that we get for the podcast. It's an awesome thing to do every week. We love
on this journey, and the support really helps us.
Yeah, and we hope that you like what Ollie has changed and made me look like a gladiator on here with all the shadowing and stuff.
It might change more depending on how
we're definitely not going back to Friday night footy, but we will continue doing what we're doing. So enjoy your runs this week. Go out there and absolutely crush it, and we look forward to seeing you next week. So
see you later.
See ya.